Hello Year 11, hope you're all well. So today we're going to start off with our usual do now of our 5 a day. So I want you to spend around 7 minutes on this actually, it's a bit of a longer one. I've had to split it up into 2 pages. So here is the first page and here is the second page, okay? So press pause on whichever page you want to do. So I will go back. So press pause here if you want to start off with these questions. Or press pause here if you want to start off with these questions. So to start off here, this is going to be in the quadratic form, so we need to subtract our 15 from both sides. So that would give us 2y, and it's not working. That would give us 2y squared minus y minus 15 equals 0. So now we want to factorize this, okay? So we know that one of the brackets is going to have 2y in there. We know the other one will just have y, okay? So then based on that, we now need to have a look at our factors of negative 15. So if we look at our factors of negative 15, we have 1 and minus 15. We have minus 1 and 15. We have negative 3 and 5. And we have 3 and negative 5, okay? So based on that, we know that the number that's in here multiplies to give the negative 15, but adds together to give us negative 1, okay? So having a look here, which of these would I need to multiply by 2 to give me negative 1 when I add them together, okay? So we know that the 1 and the 15 is not going to work because that's too big of a difference to give us a negative 1. So it has to be the 3 and the 5 here. So we just have to have a look which one is going to go into this bracket here, which one is going to be the ones multiplied by 2. So if I have a look, if I double my negative 3, that gives me negative 6. If I do negative 6 plus 5, oh, it works, negative 1. Okay, that was just by chance. I wrote it in that order. I could have started with that one and then gone to that one, but that one wouldn't have worked. So the negative 3 is what needs to be multiplied by 2, turn it into negative 6. So the negative 3 has to go into this bracket, and then the plus 5 has to go into this bracket here. Okay, so now to solve it, we can easily solve this because we know y will be the inverse to negative 3. So we know y will be 3 here. So for this one, I've said to you before, if you can't solve it easily, just make it into like a mini equation. So 2, 5 plus y equals 0. Minus your 5 from both sides. So 2y equals negative 5. So then, of course, divide that both by 2. So our other y would be equal to minus 2.5. Okay, or you can write it as a fraction, whatever's easier. So minus 5 over 2, whatever's easier for you. Okay, so press pause and either mark or correct your work. So having a look at this right angle triangle here, calculate the length of the hypotenuse, give your answer as a surd. So we know we're going to use Pythagoras here, so we're going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have to add our two sides together after we've squared them because we're looking for the longer side, okay? So I'm going to do square root 5 squared plus square root 7 squared, okay? So we should know that when we square a square root of something, it just becomes what's underneath. So that just becomes 5 and that just becomes 7, okay? So that gives us c squared. So if I add those two together, that gives me 12. So 12 equals my c squared. But I don't want c squared, I want c. So c equals square root 12, okay? We know 12 isn't a squared number, so we can't square root that, but can we simplify it, okay? So let's write out some of the factors of 12 to the side here. So factors of 12, we know 1 and 12, that doesn't help. So we've got 2 and 6. and 3 and 4. Do any of those pairs contain a square number? Yes, 3 and 4 do. So we can write C equals square root, always write the square number first, and square root 3. We will square root the 4. So C equals 2 square root 3. Okay, so that is our final answer, simplified in third form. Okay, so press pause and mark / correct your work, please. So we have two box plots here. Shown are the reaction times of two groups of people. Compare the distributions. So the first thing we can say is our medians, which are both 0.3, are the same. Okay, so medians same for both. I will neaten that up in a minute. Apologies, year 11. So medians the same are both for both. What we can see though is the spread of group A is larger. Okay, so if we look at the interquartile range rather than just the range, that gives us a more accurate spread of data because it won't include any outliers. So if we look at the interquartile range, so the interquartile range for A. Okay, so if we look here, that's 0.35 and that's 0.2. Okay, so if we do 0.35, yep, take away the 0.2, that gives you 0.15. Okay, so if we look for our interquartile range for B, so we've got 0.33 minus 0.24, which gives us 0.09. Okay, so that's our interquartile range for A, and that's the interquartile range for B. So we can clearly see that A has a wider spread of distribution times. Okay, so that's what we would say for that one here. Okay, so with this question, it's asking you which shop has the cheapest normal price. Okay, so it's telling you in the sales, a CD player costs £64 from Electrics R Us. Okay, so that costs £64, and the same CD player costs £64.60 from Music World. Okay, so which shop has the cheapest normal price? So we want to find the original amount. Okay, so if we do Electrics R Us over here and we do Music World over here, so I'm going to sort of use either side of the page. So in terms of this 64, what does it represent? So if it's 1/5 off the normal price, okay, how much has been taken off the 100%? Okay, so if you've taken 1/5 off, how many fives go into 100 is 20. Okay, so 20%, so 1/5 equals 20%. So 20% has come off, which means this £64 represents 80%. Okay, so to find our 100%, we know how to do this. We would either divide by a number that goes into 80 and 100, so by 20, for example, and then times by 5, or you could just divide it by 1 and times by 100. Okay, whichever way works for you. This is something that I'm quite confident we know how to do. Okay, so that will give me £80 as my original price. Okay, so for this one here, our £64.60, because it's 15% off. So if we do 100 take away 15, that gives us 85%. And then to get our 100%, you can just divide by 85. And then times by 100, and that gives you £76. Okay, so we can clearly see The shop that has the cheapest normal price is Music World. Okay, so this is the one that has the cheapest price. So Music World. Okay, so please make a note and mark your work, year 11. So for today's work, I would like you to complete pages 31, then pages 34 to 36. Okay, so not 32 and 33, so pages 31, then 34 to 36. So according to the marks, I have added up, so it should take up the whole lesson. Those of you that want to push yourselves a little bit more, I have added in the on class charts where you can add a website link, so nearer to the bottom of the page, the higher plus 5 a day with the answers if you want to have a go at that, for those of you that are pushing to carry on with maybe maths at college, sixth form, or have elements of maths in the courses that you're choosing to do. Okay, any questions at all, please do email me and I will speak to you soon, my lovely year 11s. Take care. Bye bye.